I saw your notice about a waitress job, and I was wondering if it's still available.
Yes, I could do with someone to give me a hand. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Welcome to In Defense Of, making the case for overlooked, forgotten or derided movies in 5 minutes or less. Don't have 5 minutes? Here's 5 seconds. Today, In Defense Of, Double Jeopardy, aka Olivia, aka Prozzie, a 1983 crime horror sort of thing that swerves you like you've never been swerved before.
Well, Eric, how would you like it?
Anything you can think of.
After seeing her prostitute mother killed by a client, Olivia grows up and finds herself in a relationship with a violent man of her own. Forbidden to get a job or have a life of her own, Olivia decides to walk the streets one night. She attracts her first client, then kills him, just as the voice of her mother orders her to. I first encountered director Ulli Lommel around 2005. He was pumping out a string of shot-on-video films based on real-life serial killers, the online reception to which was so unanimously disdainful that I would confuse him with Uwe Boll. A decade later, when I discovered his earlier work, I had to double-check it was the same Ulli Lommel. In the 1960s, Lommel was a regular actor for highly influential filmmaker Rainer Werner Fassbinder. Lommel tried his hand at directing in the early 70s and made the rather good Tenderness of Wolves, based on, surprise surprise, real-life serial killer Fritz Hamann. Sharing the voyeuristic documentary style restraint as his noughties output, but otherwise a million miles away, it's carried by a fantastic performance from fellow Fassbinder regular Kurt Raab. Lommel moved to New York in the mid-1970s, where he became firm friends with Andy Warhol, whom he cast in the movie Blank Generation, which chronicled the emerging scene of something called punk rock. In 1980, Lommel had some success with The Bogeyman, an Exorcist Halloween ripoff just different enough to be interesting. While scouting locations for a Bogeyman sequel, Lommel encountered London Bridge in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. If you've never seen Falling Down, London Bridge was moved brick by brick from England to Arizona in the late 60s. Lommel was inspired. Double Jeopardy opens like a standard video nasty exploitation film of the day. Low quality film stock and poor dubbing abound. It seems we're getting a cheap rape and revenge movie a la I Spit on Your Grave and its derivatives, where Olivia heeds the voice of her mother, kills the abusive hubby and goes on a questionably feminist murder spree. But there are a couple of indicators that Double Jeopardy is a cut above. Whenever one of these videos runs beyond the 5-minute limit, the first thing to be cut is any commentary on the soundtrack, but I can't let it go with Double Jeopardy. The music is lovely. Lommel excels at creating empathy for characters that by all rights should be monsters. He did it in Tenderness of Wolves, and he does it again here. Young Olivia attending her mother's funeral alone is heartbreaking and far above and beyond what you should expect from an exploitation cheapie. Even after she's just murdered a man, we're sympathetic to Olivia's plight. None of it feels like her fault. Susanna Love is by no means a great actress, but she's absolutely right for this role. Once the character of Mike shows up, an American businessman who is kind to Olivia and offers her an escape route, we can see the plot right itself. Hubby Richard will kill Mike, causing Olivia to snap and kill Richard, beginning the murder spree. Except Richard is the one to be offed, falling from London Bridge. Oh. Now that the abusive husband is gone and our vulnerable protagonist is free to be with her knight in shining armour, where does our killer hooker movie go? The answer is 5 years into the future and halfway around the planet as Mike returns to London Bridge, now in Arizona. There he spies Jenny, a property manager who looks familiar. This leap comes out of nowhere and sucks you right into the screen. This is an exploitation movie filmed cheaply on the streets of London. Suddenly we're watching a romance mystery in sunny Arizona where everything looks and sounds entirely alien in contrast to the film we've been watching for the past 40 minutes. It's a swerve we simply do not see coming, but it's not clumsy or illogical. It's entirely appropriate as it becomes apparent what Lommel's inspiration was. Fittingly, Double Jeopardy's two halves are connected by a bridge.
Another person.
Geez, I wonder why horror fans might not want to watch an Ulli Lommel movie. Once Double Jeopardy reaches Arizona, it throws its eggs into one basket and hopes to keep us hooked with the doppelganger mystery, and doesn't do much else interesting to keep us entertained. There's no great reveal as to whether Jenny is Olivia or not, which should be the eureka moment that kicks off the third act. Instead, Double Jeopardy gets painfully slow with padding aplenty, especially this load the box into the boat bit. Vertigo's doppelganger device is ripped wholesale, not only for Double Jeopardy, but also quasi-remake Obsession. They're superior films obviously, but Double Jeopardy feels like an attempt to marry Hitchcock with exploitation sensibilities, so it's not an appalling notion to group all three together. I wonder if this blood on the plug hole is a nod to Psycho. My copy of this film is under the title Prozzie, British slang for a prostitute. Is that appropriate given the movie's exploitative first half? Or does it cheapen the artistic whole that swerves its way out of being just another grindhouse flick? I don't know. And I don't know what happened to Ulli Lommel between this and the camcorder affair of 2 decades later. Don't let that put you off. Lommel secured his place in history by being respected by the finest artistic minds of his generation. Remember that when you enjoy this unique little gem.